I know what you're thinking. This doesn't look like the iPhone shot, uncolor graded, unprofessional looking, unframed content that was promised on YouTube. And it is, but it isn't at the same time. If you could see the setup that's going on right now, it is the most obnoxious thing you've ever seen when it comes to YouTube. We've got a monitor, there's a vintage lens on it, there's audio, all sorts of shit. All the shit that I said I would not do for this to make YouTube as easy as possible and chew up as little time so I could shoot consistently. That idea was all well and good, and it still very well could be, because today is really just a trial depending on what you guys prefer. But the reason we're trying this is because for someone that shot professional content for a living at one point, there was just something that was so wrong about trying to shoot everything on an iPhone and just not do anything to it, just throw it up. It just felt wrong, and I knew that it could be so much better. This is sort of where I always wanted the channel to end up, but I think I wanted to baby step it, and I wanted to upload as frequently as possible, and that's still a goal, but there is a bit of a trade-off when you start shooting stuff like this. With the iPhone content, like, that can get shot and uploaded 80% of sessions, no problem. But when you start doing something like this, everything just takes twice as long to frame up, to shoot. Then the editing comes in, it needs a color grade. There's still not going to be any crazy edits or anything like that, but it does take significantly more time to get a video like this up and running. So with that being said, it really comes down to is it a matter of uploading any session, a matter of the quality, or taking the time to do it once or twice a week and making sure that it looks something like this, which could be a much more pleasurable viewing experience, but that's really up to you. So for today, we're going to run it like this. We've got back and buys again. It's week 2. Missed yesterday because I actually had an injury last week, which had me on the couch for a few days. Thank God it wasn't as severe as what we thought. The physio thought it might have been a bulged disc. I don't think it is. I think it's just some muscle tightness through my lower back as I'm starting to push that heavier weight on the scales. And that means that we've got to take mobility a bit more serious. But not focusing on that today. We're going to go to the gym. We've got back and buys. We're going to a new gym again today. So not the same one as the already new gym. We're going to a different one. And yeah, should be fun. Okay, so diving a little further into what actually has happened the last week. At the time of this video, only day 1 and 2 have been put on YouTube. There's still a leg day that we filmed, and that is going to go up either tonight or tomorrow. So what happened after that, just to fill you in, because there will be a gap in videos, is that we rested on Thursday after a really good leg session. It was really tight and sore, and then Friday I had a golf lesson and hit the range for about an hour, and I could feel my back really tight through that, and I was like, oh, like nothing out of the ordinary. It's just obviously sore already from leg day, tight all through my hip flexors. And then later that afternoon I went to train shoulders and chest. Started going through shoulders, was doing lat raises, and went to pick up 2 12-kilo dumbbells, and I just felt my back ping on the way up. And I was like I've felt it before because I used to have a really bad back through school playing sport. So I'd kind of felt it before, and I sort of knew what I was in for. So I tried to do a few more sets, and I could just feel it getting tighter and tighter with each set. I was like, okay, this is not the way to go. Wrapped up the session, went home. By the time I'd driven home and went to get out of my car, it had gotten so tight all through my lower back that even the idea of standing up straight was not on the cards. I was sort of walking around with like my hands on my knees to support the weight. So starting to freak out a little bit. If I'd done it with something heavy, I would have really been concerned, because it was something that I, at that point, hadn't really felt. But the fact that it was just picking up really light dumbbells, I was like, I think it's just like a pinch or something to do with the muscles. Anyway, was pretty fucked all of that night. Woke up the next morning, even worse. Like, couldn't really get off the couch. Scrambled to find a physio. Managed to get in with the guy who is amazing. Like, he's absolutely packed out. I actually booked a sports massage because it was something that I wanted to make a regular thing, and I booked that about a month ago to see him today. And I just messaged him, was like, I need to get in somewhere, bro. I can't actually walk. So, and his calendar is like chock-a-block. Thankfully, very luckily, he put me in at the very end of his day, just extended his day sort of half an hour just to see what was up and if he could give me some exercises, so it wasn't like a full session. And we were throwing around a few ideas. There was the idea that maybe it could be like a slightly bulged disc. More people have them than they realize, and I just done something to piss it off. The other thing was just that everything was super tight, especially through my quads and hip flexors. So had a little bit of adjustment, gave me some stretches that I just smashed out, and I was feeling pretty good that afternoon. And then I made the mistake of thinking I was good to go, sort of did my usual thing on Saturday, went out for dinner, yada yada, and then woke up Sunday fucked again. So yeah, big mistake. And then Sunday, Monday, same thing. I wasn't as bad, but was still too tight. Like Monday, I didn't really want to go to the gym. I didn't want to make it worse and make it a week off instead of a couple of days. So I just spent Sunday, Monday training. And then yesterday we did just push. So chest and tris. And we got through it. So that was a big ramble, but the point of it is that we know now that it's less likely to be a bulge disc, and it's way more likely to just be tightness through hip flexors and quads, because I was doing a lot of quad stretches. Obviously I was already sore from doing legs, and then obviously golf, which is sort of like that hinged position, was just adding extra stress, but we got through it in the end. So all is well. One keynote takeaway from it, which even my coach mentioned to me on the check-in this week, was because I'm starting to really push some new territory with like body weight and things, mobility should always be something you're conscious of and doing actively, which I haven't been. But as we get heavier and the body starts to not like the weight that we're carrying around, it becomes even more vital. So just another thing to add to the agenda, which is stretching every day, particularly through my hip flexors and stuff, making sure that we're just healthy and avoiding injury, because that was not nice. Like I was literally couch ridden all Saturday morning up until about 2-3 o'clock when I went and saw this physio. So definitely don't want to be doing that again. So because this is actually a fairly decent drive, I'm going to explain a little bit about why we're running the camera system that we're running. So the iPhone, don't get me wrong, is phenomenal. The fact that I filmed those first 3 episodes just on iPhone absolutely blew my mind. The problem is that it's actually not a problem at all. I am the problem. The problem is that because I did videography and photography for a living at one point, it just didn't feel right taking footage, doing nothing to it other than just cutting out the crap, and then uploading it. Like, it just felt so wrong. It felt like it was missing so much. And it can, for me, like, I think this whole raw, unedited vlogging style can still be that, but still have that like unique flair to it, which, like, you'll notice the colors in this are different because there's a creative like color grading on it. It's shot at a much higher bit rate so that it just looks a lot more crisp. The colors are more the colors are exposed better because you don't have the iPhone trying to like automatically adjust its ISO and aperture. I can control that manually. So I don't know, it just, for most people it'll probably get completely overlooked, and that is totally fine. But for me, I think the process, I just know, feels so much better doing it the right way. So that's the biggest reason for it. That's literally the only reason for it, I think. And eventually I would think I want it to be something a bit more production-like. I don't want to make it like these super scripted videos or anything like that, but it can still feel like you're watching, like it can just be a nicer experience to watch rather than just iPhone content and then upload. I mean, again, that might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some people really just want that unedited raw stuff, but I think for me, I just prefer that process. It's just a matter of having to drop off the volume a little bit to add that quality. But I don't know, it is a lot up to you guys. Like if most people just are so overseeing that on YouTube and they kind of want just the more organic footage to just come out, it'll definitely be thought over. But I mean, may as well try both while it's still young and fresh and see. I mean, the account is still young and fresh and doesn't really know where it's going, and then from there we can step it up if need be. So this is the gym, all black, no one here. There's like other rooms at the back. This is fucking sick. Okay, so we're doing back today. Gonna do some mobility stuff if I can find a mat, otherwise I'll do it at home. And because it's a very small, cramped gym, which I kind of fucking love. And then we're going to start with back. Same exercises like last week, so there's not going to be a whole lot new. We're just going to talk through it. Obviously going to be trying to beat those weights last week. And yeah, let's run it. Okay, so it's the same workout as last week. So we've got some lat pulls to start. I don't actually think they've got a neutral grip, at least the one I like. I don't know why they have these ones. They just don't quite, theoretically it should be the same. The other ones are slightly tilted with the hands. So they are different. I don't really like these ones as much. Doesn't really matter though. I can't believe this. I've gotten here. I'm amped. I'm excited. I've just seen my camera's got 30%, and I didn't bring the spare battery that was on the counter. So here's the plan of attack. There's already so much that's gone into today as the trial, so we're going to keep running it. It might be slightly different. I'm going to just film like one set of each exercise, and from there we could still get a feel for this like video, but just note that in future it'll be more like the other videos when we have a full battery. But we're going to try and make 30% last. I don't know if it will. If it cuts out abruptly, I'm very sorry. Trust me, no one's more upset about it than I am. But we're going to run through it. We're going to make it happen. Let's go. Alright, so we've just done a top set of 6 to 8 and a back off set with 4-second stretches, but I'm chewing through this battery so quickly. It's gone from about 30 to 20%, even though I'm turning the camera on and then off in between sets, which is probably just making it worse, to be honest. But probably not going to make it through the session. I'm going to try my absolute best because I really want this to be the video I want, otherwise I'm going to reshoot the whole thing. So we're going to try to drag it out, but it's literally just going to be like 2 clips of each exercise and then me talking like this. So that's done. Now we're going to go to single lat pull downs. Okay, so I'm not doing the bent over barbell rows this week, just because I've just come off like a lower back injury, ping, inconvenience, whatever you want to call it. Not doing it this week, just not putting myself in that position. So we're just going to do extra sets here, because this essentially is sort of very similar movement. It is a little bit higher, focusing more on like mid upper back rather than trying to pull through the lat as well. But I'm just going to do more of these. I've already done our lat exercises. I think this is a good substitution for it already. So the fact that it's already in the program, I'm just going to double up on it instead of trying to throw something else in. We'll just rather stick close to the plan than normal. So we're going to run these. This battery is going to die, so I'm probably not going to film the arms portion, and just try to get these out. Hopefully save a little bit of battery for the way home. Then we're going to cap it there. Hopefully this video turns out all right, but then we get the gist. Alright, so did quite a few sets on that one, a couple of different grips. Not really grips, sorry, just like different angles. So obviously when you're pulling more like this, it's a different muscle than this. This is a bit higher, more up in the trap and stuff like that, which is usually what I do on that more, is focus more on that pull like this, opposed to up like that as you do with the bar, because you kind of come up towards the belly button with the bar. Not quite the same, but close enough. So battery is on its last legs, it's got about 7%, so have a sus. Probably not going to film the arm portion of this. It is exactly the same as last week, so we've got heavy hammer curls, incline seated dumbbell curls, and then finishing with those spider curls. But the battery's just not going to make it for this session, which I'm absolutely spewing about. But I think we did pretty well, managed to get through most of the back session, which I think is the more interesting part anyway. But yeah, just trying to keep that battery alive till we get home. All right, so before the camera dies, it's got like 5%. We'll see what it looks like. Last time I didn't manage to get with a pump because I'd done biceps, kind of lost it in my back, so. So I figured we'd wrap up the video here instead of me going home, changing the battery, sitting back down, setting it all back up, and then wrapping it up. So that is the video. This might not ever get released because that whole session felt chaos, like finishing a session, running across, turning off the camera, just trying to make it stretch at least through the back section of that. So if it pieces together nicely enough, then obviously you guys will see it. And if that is the case, we'd love to hear your feedback. What do you prefer? Do you prefer something that takes a little bit more time and you won't see as often, but is a better viewing experience? Or just that super authentic, raw, organic footage straight out of an iPhone in front of you and just see the sessions like that? It's really up to you guys. Obviously the iPhone is way easier for me. I get a little bit more joy out of producing this sort of stuff, even though it takes me a little bit longer. But yeah, that's where we're gonna wrap up the video today. Tomorrow I'm actually potentially resting, depending on what the physio says. He might say legs are off the cards just for another week, while I still try to loosen up that back, but we'll see how we go. If we are doing legs, might film it. Even if I do legs, it won't be like a heavy session as always. So anyway guys, gonna wrap up the video there, gonna go home, get some food, and I will see you when I see you.